Well, good morning, everybody. My name's Sam, and I'm pastor of the Groves Church in Chester, and I studied at St Mellitus a few years back, now doing my curacy in the parish of All Saints. It's a real privilege to be able to hang out with you this morning. I hope you're having a good Saturday, whatever you're doing. So some of you might be wondering why I'm wearing my coat. Is it some sort of illustration? It's not. It's just freezing in my office. Let me read John to us this morning. So this is John 11, verses 17 through to 36. On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Mary and Martha to comfort them at the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you'd been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." And Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." And Martha answered, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." And Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live even though he dies, and whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she told him. "I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God who was to come into the world." After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. "The teacher is here," she said, "and is asking for you." When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in her house comforting her noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him." Now, you don't need me to tell you, it's been a really tough year. It's been bizarre, it's been difficult, there's been so many different things thrown at us. And for me, I feel like I've just had to keep going. You know, we've had to reinvent church lots of times. For you, it might have been you've had to stay at home, or your job's changed, or you're now doing something different. I know people who've got different job titles during this time. It's all been, all change, all go, a lot of the time. And when we do that, what happens is we stop connecting with ourselves. We stop asking ourselves, how am I? How am I doing? Because we're like, I just need to keep going. You know, the kids need to do their homeschool, and I've still got to do all this work, and we still have to get this thing organised, and we've still got to find ways to get outside and do some stuff so that we don't all go crazy. But everything is a doing, and there isn't much time just to stop and connect in with ourselves and say, how am I? Where am I at? A time to be honest with ourselves. A time perhaps even to lament. To say, actually, this was horrible. And what I love about this passage is its raw honesty and humanity with the way Mary and Martha are with Jesus. They don't run at him and sort of say, "I'm fine, Jesus. How are you? I'm so glad you're here." They run and they both, in turn, throw themselves at his feet and say, "If you'd been here, then he wouldn't have died." There's just this raw outpouring of grief. I've connected in with the fact that I have experienced loss, and I'm just going to tell you, Jesus. And so I want to say this morning that it's okay actually to stop, to connect in with ourselves and realise actually there's been some really hard stuff to cope with. There's been for some of us actual loss, grief, difficulty, struggle. And for many of us, just the perceived absence of God. You know, if you'd been here, it would have been all right. Where have you been? And I want to say that all of that stuff is a valid part of the human experience. And it is absolutely a valid thing to bring before God. And what you notice is in this passage is that as they bring all of this stuff to Jesus, as they throw themselves at his feet, he does not rebuke them. Actually, he comes to meet them and he connects with them. And friends, what we really, really need today and every day is to connect in with Jesus. And our grief and our pain and our struggle and our difficulty is not something to be ignored and pushed aside in order to meet Jesus. It is the motivating fuel. It's the fire that can push us to falling at his feet and connecting with him there. So don't hold back today. Wherever you're at, have a think, stop, and then pour it out at the feet of Jesus, because he wants to meet you there and show you that he loves you. Have a great day.